Hello, my beautiful ducklings. It's your friendly Grippeteer, and we're taking on the Steven Bomb all this week on Grippet Studios. We will be, the night after they air, looking over the new episode of Steven Universe, because this week is the big week where there's a new episode of Steven Universe every single night. So, I already said it in the last vlog, but in case you haven't seen it, here it is now. So Steven Bomb will be all this week, but Monday night's episode, obviously, I'll do a vlog on Tuesday, and so on and so forth. And there have you. Hence, today's episode, Rose's Scabbard. And in this episode, whilst going through a strawberry field, the gems and Steven, look over and see the great war that happened with a whole bunch of crystal gems, a whole bunch of years ago. And the lion in the ground finds Rose's, Steven's mom's scabbard. And with the scabbard, brings back some memories that Pearl had. And that... I lost my train of thought. Sorry. This was a good one. I'm just going to tell you now, this was a good one. I like this one. Spoiler alert, it's really good. And so this brings back memories that that Pearl had about how close she and Rose were. And so they go back to the fort with a whole bunch of the weapons they collected. And Steven's very interested in the scabbard that he found. So he tells Pearl, how interested he is. And Pearl says that there's actually a secret place, a secret penitentiary, where... where Rose used to keep all of her weapons, which of course is the place that we saw in, I think it was the first episode Lion's in, but don't quote me on that. You're probably going to tell me below anyway. Well, I always mess up the names of the episodes. I never know, the names. But anyway, it's, if you can remember back, it's the place Steven and Connie were taken by Lion, where all of Rose's weapons are, except, oh wait, no, is her sword there? No, her sword is there, never mind. A whole bunch of throwbacks are there, like some laser light cannons, and there's also some axes, some samurai suits, some like a giant Rio statue with a whole bunch of spike balls hanging off of it, and, there's a little funny joke about how Steve's just stating the obvious, and they obviously have big significant names that Pearl tells them, which gets a laugh or two. And so Pearl's pretty shocked to know that another person knows of Rose's secret penitentiary, and so she's kind of shocked because she was so close to Rose, surprised that anybody else would possibly know that. So they go back to the fort, and honestly, some more stuff happens. It's nothing that much. And that wasn't like a sarcasm, really. I can't remember what happens. It's not anything big, I'll just tell you that. Nothing big happens. Of course, with my luck, something big did happen, and I'm going to get killed for it. But anyway, what's it called? Oh my god. I'm spacing out tonight. I'm so sorry. Oh my god. Okay, I'm good. Yes. Steven Universe, yes. So, they go back, and Pearl goes on this big monologue about how, how important Rose was to her, in which she gets incredibly aggravated with Steven in a way we've never seen before, in a way of, Judge Judy, kind of madness, yelling, you didn't even know her. That kind of deep stuff that we probably shouldn't say to an orphan. Okay, not an orphan. Okay, someone who doesn't have a mom anymore, at least. And so then Pearl storms off to nowhere to be found, while, Amethyst is angry that Pearl thinks, Rose pretty much belonged to her and there was nobody else that Rose cared about, which probably wasn't true, but... that's kind of the point they're trying to convey. So, so Pearl goes to a secret place, which Lion finds, and they and Pearl tries to run away from Steven. She jumps over these little, floating rocks, and Steven jumps over. They finally get to the end, and Pearl just doesn't want Steven to come any closer. So when Steven tries to jump over, he falls. He falls onto some vines. He slides down on the vines. He revines the vines. The vines still aren't funny, and it's 8 seconds of your life wasted. Sorry, I had to get that out. So in a honestly pointless scene, he falls on the vines and he climbs back up. I mean, really, why was that scene even in there? Okay, one criticism I just want to get out of the way now is that is such an unneeded scene for this episode. It doesn't even make sense why it's in, like, he's jumping, and then Pearl looks at him, and then, my God, my hair, I need a barrette. It's a thing for your hair if you don't know. You probably know. Okay, why am I still talking about this? Steven jumps across to look at Pearl, and Pearl looks him, like, right in the face, and then Steven just falls, and he falls, and he grabs onto some vines, and he climbs back up, and it's not like Pearl tried to help him or anything, so there was almost literally, and I mean literally, no point for that part to be in the episode. Like, what did it show? That Pearl wouldn't help Steven? That doesn't really make sense. I mean, she's trying to avoid Steven right now, so why would we need more to explain that? Steven gets up just fine. You don't, like, see the struggle of him getting up. You just see him grab onto the things. He looks up, Pearl, like, ducks her head, and then, it cuts to him, and he's like, grabbing onto the top of the mountain, and he gets up. It's not like there's a struggle for him to get up. It's just, I don't understand why that scene was there at all. It just doesn't make any sense. You probably know why. Tell me in the comments. Pearl says that she's, obviously really sad that someone she thought of so closely didn't tell her certain things or kept certain things from her, which all the other gems accept pretty easily. But I guess Pearl has a very hard time doing it. And so Pearl recollects more of the war that happened at the patch over 500 years ago, and she makes a hologram version of Rose, and they replay the scene of what happened when. What were they replaying? Were they replaying when Rose decided to, like, give up the war? Were they replaying when Rose died? I don't really know what they were replaying, and it sounds stupid. It's like, you're probably like, Grumpetier, it was this, duh. But I really didn't understand at all what they were, like. Obviously, it was a heartfelt conversation they had that was very important to Pearl, and it had to do with the war, and, like, their battle plan kind of thing. But I didn't really understand, like, what it was about, I guess. As silly as that sounds, I guess I'm just not sophisticated enough to understand it. Steven gives Pearl a great big hug because, he wants to make words. Tonight is just a great night for the Grumpetier. 10 out of 10. Can't even tack. I can't even tack. I can't even talk. Okay, in and out. Steven Universe. So they go back. Pearl recollects some more scenes from the war. Steven puts on a magic show. Pearl cosplays as Tom Baker. Think about it. She did. And then, in just a really nice and simplistic scene, it's just like a maybe 5-6 second loop at the end of the episode of them just riding on the tiger away from the battle scene with the flag in their hand. And it's gonna sound... I know this is a channel of a teenager who collects toys and old Nintendo stuff and likes Pokemon so much that he, like, devoted half his life or most of his life to it. But this is probably gonna sound pretty stupid even coming from me. That was such... I said this... I had this exact same conversation when I did my top 10 Adventure Time episodes with I Remember You, which I relate very closely to this episode if you think about it. the end of the episode, also made by Rebecca Sugar. The end of the episode is nothing big. It's no big payoff. It's simply Simon goes over to Marcy and he gets the little hambo and he gives it to Marcy, and it just ends the episode like do 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 do, and it just ends on the song that they're singing, and it's just they leave it on a note so sentimental that it's just. Okay, I'm gonna say it. I don't want any hate for sounding like a wuss or whatever, but it's just so beautiful. And I know beautiful animation when I see it, and I Remember You is a beautiful piece of animation. Rose's Scabbard is not a beautiful piece of animation. Steven Universe itself is a beautiful piece of animation at times, but this particular episode is not an amazing episode. It's a really good episode. It reveals a lot. It has some really heartfelt moments. Like, this was the On the Run episode if the character going through the pain was Pearl instead of Amethyst. And it's really good. And just the last 3 seconds, or like the last loop they put it on, instead of just having like a 2-second scene of them riding away on the lion, and then like zooming in on the star and then ending it. It's not. It's like 6 seconds, and they're just riding on the lion, and Rose has the flag of the Rose's flag, and that's just like she has a solemn face. There's no like joke to it or anything. It's just silence, and they're riding away from the battle scene, and it's just such a beautiful. It is. It's just such a beautiful scene that it like adds a layer of depth to something just so silly. It's like they're riding away on a pink lion from a battlefield that's a raspberry with a whole bunch of Shadow of the Colossus weapons. How silly is that? Well, they do a pretty good job making it actually really, really beautiful. And I just said this, but that last scene where they're just on the horse and they're driving away, not driving away, they're walking away, it's just there to, it's put on a loop longer just to make you like appreciate how nice it is. It's like the end of The Graduate. Nostalgia Critic did a thing on this, but I'm pretty much just gonna regurgitate what he said. At the end of The Graduate, instead of ending the movie at both of them getting on the bus and laughing, and being all happy with what they got, it ends with them getting what they wanted, going on the bus, laughing, and then for like 3 seconds, it's just them. They stop laughing, and they're just like, they just act serious, and like they come to their realization of what they've just done. And this is kind of like that, in a weird, twisted, not quite the same way, but still, it's just like that, and it's just a really beautiful, like 6 seconds. It's just a really beautiful episode overall, really. Pearl is my second favorite gem, as I said in my Ask Me Stuff video. But I never really related to her in the same way I saw Garnet or even Amethyst, because Pearl was always the tidy white, not tidy white. She wasn't the underpants of the group. She was like the mom of the group. She was like the by the books Courtney and all that. But in this episode, you see that she somebody idolized and seen as a figure as highly in Steven's life as Pearl saw Steven's mother as that kind of figure in her life, and they were just really good friends. There wasn't like some rivalry between them, or there wasn't like some kind of thing. They're just friends, and that's what it. I mean, really, for all the jokes I make about being lonely and being like having no friends or like being single or something, that is. I actually have friends and girlfriends. Those are jokes, I think. See, I did it right there. That's how it is to have friends. Like, it's silly, you have a friend who's a boy, like me. I have lots of friends who are boys, and as a straight man, they mean a lot to me, and they do things that are really, they just do things that really affect my life, and that sounds very homosexual, but it isn't. But that's just the way that Pearl feels about, Rose. She just looks up to him. She sees her as a friend,
as an acquaintance, as even a member of her family, and I guess even an idol. And that's just something very interesting to see from a character like Pearl. And with that, I leave you with that incredibly deep monologue I just gave. Sorry if that was too edgy. But I will see you tomorrow. Thanks for watching. Thumbs up if you liked it. Slap that like button with the hair that keeps getting in your sunglasses. And I'll see... Hair. I'm gonna cut it all off. Chicka chicka.